I can't think of a single important person that could have been on that flight that would have been in the news.
Well, another interesting aspect about this was that shortly after the flight disappeared, they started, obviously investigating, and they discovered that 2 of the passengers that were listed on the plane weren't there because their passports had been stolen previously, up to, I think, a year or 2 before this flight. So, I mean, at least 2 people were on this flight who were using fake passports. And just earlier today, they came out with a report. I didn't get to read too much on it, but they have found some sort of evidence in the pilot's house or apartment or whatever that suggests that he may be a part of it.
Then, I mean, the only thing I could think that they've got left going on over there is some sort of, sell them into some kind of slavery or indentured labor.
That, or, they could...
Or sneak those immigrants into the
239
United States.
people, I believe, on this flight. That's a lot of hostages.
There could have been a failed terrorist attack,
or it may not be failed, because they may just try to steal the plane and load it up with explosives.
That's true. Then you just have a giant missile, which, granted, North Korea wants. The Malaysian government could say, it's like, hey, we've got an actual missile.
That's another thing that's crazy, too, is like, who would have the most motivation, and why would they want this plane?
I think it would be more likely to be a failed because, I mean, as much coverage as this is getting now, if that plane pops up somewhere, everybody is going to be all over that. I think it would be something more likely of maybe they tried to take the plane over, there was resistance, and then it ditched in the ocean, and maybe that's why they still have the cell phones ringing through. Maybe they didn't get completely soaked by the seawater for some reason or something.
Well, see, that's the thing. There's no wreckage. If they had gone down in the ocean, there would have been some kind of wreckage or something, and there's been nothing. That's the thing.
Plus
it's literally disappeared, which means most likely some kind of hijacking seems the most logical. It's been landed safely somewhere and is now in hiding.
They think it has been landed safely somewhere.
Just because you haven't found wreckage doesn't mean it hasn't crashed. There have been planes that have crashed.
Yeah, that's true.
There was, I think it was an Air France flight that they actually found wreckage of it, but didn't find the plane for another 2 years.
But I mean, everything about this just is, like I said, it seems like a low-budget action flick. You got 2 ghosts on the plane. You got the pilot who potentially may have been in on it. Somebody cut the communications from the plane.
It was Denzel.
Denzel!
I was just going to ask, is Liam Neeson on the flight? Because they'll be okay as long as they don't get it run
and
into
Samuel L.
wolves.
Jackson.
Well, if you've got wolves and snakes on the plane, that's going to completely cancel out Sam and Liam's defense.
I got to interject. I saw the censored version of Snakes on a Plane with Samuel L. Jackson.
That had to be very boring.
Oh, it was the most hilarious thing because the most famous line, "I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane," was censored to "I'm sick of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane."
I've seen
What?
Yes, monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
That's the title of a movie right there.
Yeah, that and Bears on a Train, the sequel, where Samuel L. Jackson fights a horde of gay men.
Oh.
I do remember seeing snakes on the plane in the theaters, and immediately at the scene of the snake that comes out and bites the girl on the boob, turned to a friend of mine sitting next to me and saying to him, "My milk snake brings all the boys to the yard."
Oh, God.
Classy.
Now, one of the theories that was put forward by Ashley was that it's a very slim possibility, but there is still possibility that this could be a move by Russia to take the focus away from Crimea.
I don't
Very,
think so.
very slim. However, it has effectively done that as far as the mainstream media is concerned.
Well, not really, because, there's the whole war with Russia thing that's looming on the horizon. The biggest thing is Ukraine.
Yeah, but it's kind of taken
not
the back seat
Ukraine,
to,
but specifically Ukraine. They dropped the article when they actually became a place. Ukraine standing for Borderlands, fantastic game series. But Ukraine was its own state that created itself out of the borderlands of Russia. So this is really just Russia being like, okay, you've had your fun. Let's take this back. Now, a lot of that goes in, Ukraine's prime minister, whatever, is a raging douchebag. He kind of, fucked everything up, as raging douchebags are wont to do.
All right. Well, we've got Liba in the chat room who says that she read that there were stealth scientists from the U.S. on the plane, and that they were researching stealth technology. So that
Oh, there you go.
that's true. I mean,
Maybe an airborne Philadelphia project, and
Oh,
they
shit.
went back to 1950 something.
Yeah.
and I mean another thing you got to look at too is
It's the crash in Roswell.
with changes coming and going, this could in some ways be just somebody trying a new form of generic piracy.
Hmm.
I mean,
Well,
hijacking the plane.
This isn't generic piracy. This is pretty specific piracy.
Well, I'm just saying this could just be simple piracy. This might not be a country doing it for political gains. This might not be somebody needing scientists. This could just be a whole bunch of guys who are like, hey, we can make a lot of money. Let's steal a plane.
You'd think there'd be easier ways to steal a plane than to steal a plane with passengers.
No, when it's up in the air is the easiest time to steal a plane.
Well, I would argue that when it's sitting down in a hangar, and you can.
In a protected airfield
On Spider
with
Skull
security.
Island.
This is Malaysia. How much security can there be? It's a panda holding a bamboo flashlight.
But it's got a goddamn AK-47 because this is Malaysia.
Well, yeah, but
They've got 12-year-olds carrying rocket launchers just, marching along the perimeter.
yeah, but again, it's a panda. It doesn't have fingers. It can't shoot. The AK-47 is just for show. It's not even real. It's actually a toy. You can tell by the orange tip. They built it there.
The
The 12-year-olds built it.
And then go to work as security guards.
Of course, all joking aside, it's most likely that, the planes crash somewhere, which, hope hasn't happened, but
I don't know.
I still kind of...
Way to be a Debbie Downer.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying...
Why can't
you know,
pandas have AK-47s built by 12-year-old Malaysian soldiers?
they'd have to be
Seriously.
Why
made
can't
of-
we let that be the reality?
Because, I don't know, for some reason, I think their security would be all kickboxers from the Kumite.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Muay Thai
that's-
kickboxing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I just wonder if, 20 years later, after everybody's forgot about it, the plane comes out of a portal.
Yeah.
Crashes into the Pentagon or something. Who knows?
Full of explosives. So, speaking of things flying through the air, Angry Birds.
Everybody loves Angry Birds.
Those birds are still angry? God.
It's your favorite little crapper game.
They've got some issues. I think
And
they...
they're taking it to the next level with Angry Birds Epic.
Epic.
It is a new game that they're coming out with in Australia and Canada. It's launched in Australia and Canada this week. I don't know any details about if it's going to cost. Well, I assume it's going to cost money because they're money grubbing assholes.
Are they going to be...
Microtransactions are the way of the future.
Are they going to be
Yeah.
recruiting the Flappy Bird now for their... is Flappy Bird angry?
Flappy Bird makes people angry.
Okay,
He himself is
so-
not.
Okay.
But it is a turn-based. Basically, it looks like Final Fantasy.
I personally feel like this thing, the Angry Birds thing's kind of ran its course. I mean, I like strategy games. I know Jake likes them too, but it's just the franchise of the Angry Birds. I'm ready for it to go away.
But this is Angry Birds. This is them just slapping their brand on a game type and going for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the pre-built brand. Kids these days are crazy about Angry Birds.
Oh, that is the absolute truth. Kids these days love Angry Birds. You can't whip out your phone around a child without going, "Hey, can I play Angry Birds?" Then you have to slap them and be like, "Whose child is this?" I don't have children.
Now, another really
How'd you get in my house?
a really good game that they had. I don't remember what it's called. Was it like Angry Pigs or something? But you play as the pigs, and you have to build these contraptions to screw over the birds. Like you have to build a plane with an engine and a propeller to go down a hill and ramp and fly far.
When I started to kind of feel like it run its course was when I saw the Angry Birds Star Wars toys in Walmart. I was kind of like, that's enough.
Angry Birds board game.
I can do one better than that. Angry Birds Kart Racing. It's surprisingly fun, but it is a fantastic little game. Angry Birds.
Am I getting hate posts from not liking Angry Birds? Is that what's happening over there?
No, it's somebody hating.
Why don't you like Angry Birds? What's wrong with you?
Well, what are they saying to hate on you? Come on, let's.
Apparently, my segue wasn't that good. I tried. God damn it.
Well, you know what? Let's see if they can come up with a better segue.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the goal. Next week, bring out tweet failed task, your best segues.
There you go. You can tweet us with your best segue, and we will read the top 5 on the air.
At failed task.
Or we'll completely forget about it, and you'll waste your efforts. But
Yeah.
One of those things will happen.
You can again type in when we're live casting and be like, "Hey, you fuckers forgot," and we'll be like, "Oh, we're sorry. Don't
Yeah.
care."
actually, I think the proper response would be "forgot what."
And yeah, they're asking about the Angry Birds board game. Yeah, they literally just made Angry Birds in a physical form, and you buy it as a freaking board game. And
it's a slingshot, little
do
rubber
the
band
things
thing.
and hurt the pigs, and it is the dumbest thing ever.
It sounds
kinda like
like it's
bowling.
got a high possibility for accidental injury.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, not
but
only
that's
that,
the best
but-
part.
if you think about it, they're gonna have to have expansions where it's just like a big old box full of little plastic planks of wood, just so you could build different levels, and then you're gonna lose all these freaking pieces.
They're called Lincoln Logs.
I like the way you think. We need to come up with a ghetto rigged failed task podcast version of Angry Birds. Just Lincoln
Jenga
logs,
and Lincoln Logs.
and for the pigs and the birds, we'll just have little wads of Play-Doh.
No, it's Easter. We can use Peeps.
I like it. Well, okay. Now another question being asked is how they're going to build an RPG around uninteresting non-characters. I don't think that they're going to try to build an RPG. I think that it's just going to be like the combat with the generic storyline of, "Oh, they took our eggs. We're angry."
That's the thing. Yeah, they're
Angry
not actually.
Birds.
It's not just that they're non-characters. If you've ever played the games, they give little brief, nondescript storylines. Most people skip right past them. But the pigs have come and they've stolen the eggs of these birds.
Mhm.
The birds are on a
And they're
search for
angry.
revenge. Yeah, they're angry. It's like Taken. Basically, the birds are hunt. They will hunt you down.
So
they
the
have a
birds are
certain
the
set
Liam
of
Neeson of the
skills.
game, then, is what you're saying.
They have a certain set of skills. They will find you and they will kill
The
you.
best part is in Angry Birds Star Wars, there is in fact a Liam Neeson Angry Bird.
That only
So this is
goes
all
to-
coming together.
But that's the
goes to
Qui-Gon
perpetuate
Jinn.
my point.
Qui-Gon.
That's Qui-Gon. So
Qui-Gon.
someone will find him and kill him. I know what you're saying, but yeah, because Qui-Gon died in the first movie, right?
Qui-Gon?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon.
I'll call
Qui-
it whatever I want. I'll fight.
That's
I'll throw down. I call him Qui-Gon. You can-
Qui-Gon.
I'll call him Qui-Gon, and you can be gone.
What's the name of the chick with the dragons from Game of Thrones?
I call her Danny now.
Yeah,
Her
you
name is
just say
Danny.
that's fair
Dan
enough.
Dan the nervousness.
Dirk-
Targaryen. Mother of Dragons.
Chick
That's her
what we saw
name.
naked within the first 2 episodes of the whole series.
Mhm.
You say that like it was a bad thing.
Well, you know what was a bad thing?
What?
Here's a segue.
Here's a segue. If I didn't fuck it up,
Oh, failed test.
He drives it off the
bitch.
cliff.
That's the
Oh.
perfect. That's the perfect segue for this show.
All right,
It's a
drive
failed
it off
test.
the cliff.
Hawaii tour boat captain arrested on suspicion of DUI after ditching divers.
Well, that's pretty alliterative.
Well, you'd have to ditch them. There'd be less witnesses. So,
Well, I mean, they're underwater. You could, they've got oxygen. They'll be fine.
Let's see. This says that roughly 30 confused divers experienced just that. Oh, I should have read the whole article. So apparently this guy left about 30 divers in the water after, they'd all jumped on the boat. And he's like, well, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Sounds more like he has ADHD.
The guy was found on his boat drifting offshore by, oh, God, I'm going to try to pronounce this name just because I know I'm going to mess it up. Pononui Lialo? I don't know. Captain of another tour boat. According to that guy, Irwin was in a daze but unhurt. So, yeah, dude was just kind of an asshole and decided to wander off while the 30 people were under the boat.
This is what happens when you day drink on a boat and you're in charge.
he was drunk and had to get the luau. It was,
Right? Yeah. See, that's the thing. There's no problem with day drinking on a boat when you're passenger, but when you're driving the boat, there's a certain level of responsibility you're supposed to be.
I think he probably got drunk to the point where he's thinking, if I leave these 30 people here, there's more poi for me at the luau.
Yes. Hoi polloi.
More roast pig and